Welcome to our podcast. I completely forgot to record. No, we're getting off to a great start here. It's a pretty bad joke, yes.
He's one of those people when he starts talking, you just listen. I hate country music to a level that should be studied.
Yeah.
White bitches be crazy. Craig's dad is a bank robber. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing. Actually, I don't care.
She lied about her birthday so that me and my coworker would bake her a cake.
Most of this podcast is going to suck, by the way. Hello and welcome to another episode of La Murga Podcast. I'm your host, La AJ Murga, and with me as always is my lovely wife, Jennifer. And we have two special guests today, all the way from Oregon. It's Craig and Lisa Will. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for being back. Appreciate it, Craig. This is your first time on the show, and really appreciate you being here. Today we are going to talk about the Netflix documentary Maternal Instincts. It was a real rip-roaring riot of a time. Very hard watch, but a lot of interesting stuff going on that I feel like we probably have a lot to talk about with. Real quick note, though, when you're doing research on this movie and you're an idiot like I am, you end up finding another movie called Mother's Instincts, and then you watch half of it only to realize that it has nothing to do with this.
I'd like you to talk about it still.
Yeah, that's a true story. And, I had Jessica Chastain and Anne Hathaway, so I was like, okay, I'll give this a try. And then I was like, this is odd. They decided to set this story in the 1960s, but I'll see where this goes. And I got a good 35 minutes at least in before I realized, what the fuck am I watching? This is not anything to do with this. And I Googled it, and they're like, no, that's not a thing. So
it's something completely different.
That's me and my research ways.
I love your ability to just be in the moment.
Yep.
You just took that in. You were really giving it a chance.
For a long time, you were in
really
the moment.
Funny.
That is impressive.
I definitely turned it off and was like, damn it. Now what am I going to do with the rest of my night?
He lies, he finished it.
I actually wanted to watch that movie.
I mean,
yeah,
might as well now.
Right, it was kind of boring. But speaking of a movie that was not boring, this movie started off with a bang. It was, I thought, really, really exciting right off the bat with the cold open of this girl getting pulled over and having a dead baby in her lap, which was pretty intense. I didn't know anything about the story going into this, and so I was expecting the police to actually escort her to the hospital and actually treat her like she like what was going on was what she described. But going into this, did you guys already know who she was and kind of the story, the background behind it, or what did you guys think of the opening?
Well, I was already really familiar with it, so it didn't surprise me. I was more excited to see background information of okay, if they're starting here, where are they going to go now from here? I don't think you knew.
I, as we watched it, recalled the headline from back when it happened, but I had never known any of the details.
What about you, Jen? Because I don't remember much of this story at all.
I had forgotten it until I saw her mugshot, and then I realized, oh yeah, this was one of the many doom-scrolling headlines that came through during the pandemic, and I didn't click into it because I was trying to stay away from all of that. And I just remember thinking, this is yet another, reason someone's snapping out there because of all the stress we've been through. Didn't realize the snap had happened years prior.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there was so much weird stuff going on during the pandemic, not only in real life, but also on television. I remember getting wrapped up in Tiger King and how big of a deal that was.
Yeah.
Very different story than Tiger King, though, that's for sure. Tiger King was a feel-good movie compared to this.
Yeah, speaking of, we talked about the Mackenzie Shirilla. I was like, this lady from Maternal Instinct makes Mackenzie look like Girl Next Door, like America's Sweetheart. It's insane how crazy this lady was, how much worse.
Immediately and for a long time and spread out, that was probably the most shocking thing to me, was how many different people were already aware of how she was but nobody was saying anything to anybody else. So it's like she would continue to isolate and move, isolate and move.
If you haven't seen the movie, I definitely recommend watching it first, because we're kind of just jumping in here. But the story is essentially a woman lies about a pregnancy that she can't physically have, and then befriends someone and kills her and steals her unborn baby and tries to pass it off as her own. And that's as ridiculous as it sounds. That's really what happened. So just to give some context for people who haven't seen it, let's jump to the end there, because you're right, Craig. Like, the shocking thing that I took away from this was, how could people in her life not say something sooner, thinking that she was maybe, this delusional or capable of, maybe not capable of this, but capable of ruining her life, ruining somebody else's life to this extent. I've certainly known people in my life who have been tornadoes, but never to this level. And, I would hope that somebody would say something, and you can tell in their eyes at the end, a lot of the people that were in her life, that they maybe had a lot of regrets.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they all felt a degree of responsibility, guilt.
But the thing is, a lot of people did say something, and it just went nowhere. Like, the old friend tried to tell them. The ex-husband tried to tell Wade, her new beau, whatever. And it just, they just didn't take it seriously enough, I don't think.
Well, and what is it that you say? Like, most people are good inside, and it's hard to imagine where somebody who's not could go.
Yeah. Like, they could never expect what she was going to do, because I don't think they would ever come up with something like that.
No. Who could? I've watched a lot of fucked up shit, in my day, and this might take the cake. Like, I can't even believe the place that this went to.
Yes.
And, to back up just a little bit, because you brought up Wade, and I'm glad you did. I felt so bad for this poor bastard, but also at the same time, like, if you can hear the dog barking in the background, but yeah, I felt bad for this bastard, but also at the same time, like, how do you not, how do you ignore all those red flags? How do you not know
how?
Yeah. He wasn't ignoring anything. Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
He was looking the other way purposely, because he was hoping somehow that payout was actually going to come to fruition.
Yeah, what was it? $8 million?
Explain this more to me and the audience, if you don't mind, because I remember this, but I didn't take notes on this section.
So she claimed that she came from this, like, oil money or something like that. She claimed that she was going to inherit millions of dollars
from her grandma.
And was saying that her mom was getting in the way of the inheritance just out of spite, didn't want her to have the money, didn't want her to have a baby with Wade, was blaming it all on the mom. And even though at every turn there are signs that there's no money, the money's not coming, I really think he was holding out for that small, like, somehow this might be true.
She kept using the same tactic for all her scams, which is make the claim, fake it, and use as many excuses, and as you get to the end, like, try to find a way out of it. All of a sudden, oh, mom's back, so we're about to get those millions of dollars, but she went to the bank and cleared everything out.
Wow.
And that was, like, right at the deadline for closing on the ranch.
Her lies knew no end, that's for sure.
No end!
Which is why it's so insane to me that it was able to go as far as it did without somebody taking it serious enough to, like, physically isolate and restrain her.
Yeah.
She's out of control.
That's the thing. People have free will, so anytime it wasn't working, she would just cut those people off and find a new source, or a new supply, as they say.
Again, we've all had tornadoes in our life, I'm sure, but, like, to lie to this level, she really did belong, like, in a nut house or in some kind of care facility, to be more PC. Yeah, just crazy. Well, I do want to talk about her mental state and Jen, I'll go to you first for this, because of your medical background. Her how do you say it? Ectopic pregnancy. Help me with words now. Help me with words. That seemed like it would be a really terrible situation for someone who was sane. Someone like her. Like, can you speculate at all what it was that she went through with that, and if that may have led to any further deterioration of her mental state, or any thoughts about the pregnancy at all?
Well, anything I'd say would just be a guess, but it'd be traumatizing to anybody in any mental state. You've got the risk to your health and then your future, and finding out like you can't have kids any longer if you wanted to or not. I don't think it's my place to do any sort of evaluation on her mental state. I just think we're being too soft on everybody else. I don't think it's she's evil and everyone else is an angel. I don't think Wade's a good person. Okay, did we all ignore like all the dead animals he's associated with, the conditions of his dogs? They were like emaciated, tied up outside, and he's using a girl for her money. Like, it just happened to be a girl that's a murderer. If she wasn't, maybe it would have been, the story would have been guy murders wife for inheritance, would have been the next documentary we would have gotten here.
Yeah, I was thinking that when he would describe what it was like being, like what he liked about being married to her. Sometimes she'd have like a meal ready for me, and she would do this for me and this for me and this, and she didn't complain. And so like all that on top of the money is coming. Like if this was a different circumstance, if this was a different woman who didn't murder somebody, who wasn't, like screaming for help, it would be kind of maybe sad when viewed through a certain lens that she's kind of like stuck with this guy.
What do you expect people to do? You can't lock her up against her will. You know what I mean? So it's like, how much help could somebody get this person who doesn't want it or doesn't think that they need help? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's not really any way to force them into it. So who knows what her family may have tried. Like, they seemed like they were kind of over it. They're like, oh yeah, she's been lying like this forever.
Yeah, it makes me think of, I had a manager once who was kind of a pathological liar. And when that's somebody that you deal with, you kind of just get used to it. And if they aren't like hurting somebody, yeah, you just kind of, they're their own thing and you let them go.
Did your manager ever call in bomb threats for fun?
You know what? No, but she lied about her birthday so that me and my coworker would bake her a cake because we had baked a different coworker for their birthday.
Okay, that's just kind of sad, actually.
And brilliant. I kind of want to make that lie now for more cake.
Yeah.
There was other things that were shadier about her and her...
Not just her love of cake.
Well, he was significantly younger than her.
The old manager was me.
Hey, we all love cake that much. Craig, I like you, but I'm definitely going to lie to you if you're going to make me a cake every time. That's for sure.
It's my birthday again.
Yeah. Speaking of the bomb threat, I actually appreciated the commitment to the bit. Because to go that far with her lie in order to call in a bomb threat because she knows, like, okay, this is the thing that's going to actually be the reason that he'll buy. Just stuff like that was unbelievable.
She needed to be a writer.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
way that she was holding this whole like world in her head.
Yes.
The way he said she would disappear in the bathroom for hours, and then we find out later it's because she's going through her 47 different phones and email addresses
and her fat
to
suit
message herself and him and everybody in that circle.
Yep.
That just right at Twilight,
Well, she's coming out of the bathroom like she's Nutty Professor, and she goes in as Wonder Woman, and so no wonder it takes 4 hours to happen.
That's what I'm saying with this fucking idiot. I don't feel bad for him at all, because what do you mean? Yeah. Oh yeah, she would go in the bathroom for hours. Like, what? And what are you doing?
Right?
You're just like, oh, I don't know. I guess that's
yeah, even the other people were trying to cover for him. Well, he was busy all the time. How busy do you have to be to notice that your girlfriend who forced her way into your house 1 month after you started dating is...
And then burn down
your house down.
Right?
That was my favorite one. She was like, what do we do? Burn the house down?
That's worse than the bomb threat, because
Oh, yeah.
the bomb threat at least is kind of removed. You could argue with yourself that, like, these people don't matter to me. Your own house that you're in?
And a bomb threat is just a threat. A fire is... That's not a threat anymore. That's an active, like, issue.
Maybe he thought that her IBS would take care of it. Just blow that shit right out. Because, I mean, if she's in the bathroom for 4 hours, I mean, I would be worried about the water bill. I would be worried about the state of my toilet. I would be worried about her bowels, you know, and for him to just never question anything is what it seems like.
He was just willing to overlook everything, I feel, for that money.
Really, the movie was more of a commentary on how stupid and shitty men are, that she was doing all this and he's just there.
He's just okay with it.
There.
Yep. Well, Lisa, you bring up a good point. Like, we talked about this with the last one, the enabling culture that the crash had. And this one, very much the same. All these people, you know, that we're getting at the very end, and they're looking so sad. It's almost like a shame on you moment, though.
Absolutely.
100. Yeah.
And the rest of his family, too. When they were having that weird party where they were doing a presentation on the property they were about to buy, my favorite was the looks on everyone's faces. Because you could tell there was nowhere they'd rather not be than right there.
Yeah, they all look uncomfortable. They're not buying it. They're like, something is weird here. But again, even when they no matter who tried to say something, tried to intervene, it didn't go anywhere. What was his coworker or his best friend's wife? She started doing research. She started digging, of course, a woman.
She was the you, Lisa, of this story. You would have been doing that same thing.
Wait a minute. She confronts her. She just keeps lying. And then the best friend, he tries to confront his friend to be like, dude, this lady is not it. She's nuts. You gotta just let her go. Like, cut her loose. And he takes her side.
And they stop being friends.
Mm-hmm.
The ex-husband that called Wade.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, and I think the anecdote that maybe illustrates this best is, if looking at that compressed timeline, you know, they had just met, they were barely even together for a month before she's moving in. Obviously, they are having sex because she's claiming she's pregnant. Mm-hmm. But then he tells his best friend, it's been 5 or 6 months since we've had sex. Like, after she got pregnant. That is a weird, like, I can't think of a typical male that would be like, yeah, move in and we're going to be together and then I'm not sleeping with you anymore and that's okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just saying,
hey.
like, that, unless there's a lot of money, like, what's the balance? What's balancing that weird? Because why wouldn't you just be like, I don't know what this is anymore. You're being weird. Like, this isn't the relationship that seemed like we were having. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it being so new, I think really drives that point home, because it's not like it was like over years that she's kind of gotten weirder and weirder.
Yeah, that's kind of my point.
He just met her. He didn't really know her. So it's like, why were you willing to accept all these discrepancies? We'll
call them quirks, yeah.
So was he up to something else? Was he okay with her in the bathroom for hours because he was off doing other things too?
Off not feeding his dogs.
Yeah,
clearly.
Tending to his sheep all night long.
Boars.
Yeah.
Oh.
She just got it back there. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, poor word choice.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, I agree with you though, Craig. I mean, you've been with this woman for a month, and you're cool with like immediately jumping into like year 20 of the marriage. Like, okay, the honeymoon phase is over. You know, we haven't had sex in 4, 5, 6 months, and you're also like magically that amount of pregnant. It just doesn't make any sense.
And they asked, "Do you love her?" And he was like,
No.
No.
He goes, I never loved her.
"So
I never
what are you
told her."
getting?" Yeah,
That was my favorite part, and I think that actually drives home your point of it was for the money. And now that you mention that and explain it, I agree. They fuck him then.
Yeah, he was not innocent in this. It's hard still not to feel like some sort of like pity for him, because obviously this is not what he expected or maybe deserved, because that's wild. But he's not just some like poor guy. He's a guy.
These are the consequences of being complicit.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Her delusional confidence and how she sold her stories was another impressive thing that I picked up on. And her it goes down even to her Instagram posts of how they were like so perfectly posed and filtered, and she like there was no aspect of her life that wasn't a complete lie.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
That's a tagline for this episode.
I think that it's literally delusional confidence. Like I don't think it's like the sarcastic way we talk about people. I think literally it was she was suffering from delusions.
I think her brain was so broken that she couldn't even bear to face reality or like the truth of these things. She has to follow wherever the lie takes her. That's all she can. That's the only way she can exist.
I would be curious to know if her ex-husband and her had talked about, or there had been something about having another baby at some point, and then after she couldn't anymore, that's why she was fixated on, I gotta give way to baby A to keep him, but B, like, if that was something that was inside her as like, I'm supposed to have another baby or whatever, I don't know. It's also weird that when she got the hysterectomy, she signed all the paperwork. She had done the initial consultation and then came back and signed that she understood and that she agreed and they weren't wanting any more children. So I don't know. Like, she was clearly probably broken before that.
I agree. Jen, anything come to mind for you? You said you don't want to evaluate her mental state, which I totally understand. But did you pick up on like moments that where this lady could have broken, or did you think? Is there a moment that you think, okay, we could maybe pinpoint her trauma back to this, or has she always been crazy?
Well, I think everybody was like, it was like a big blame game the entire documentary. For her to have that many issues, you would just wonder what happened before. So, like, monsters make monsters kind of thing. Like, what happened to her before this to make her like this? So I think it is a big miss that we didn't get an interview with her in the documentary as well. And I think that would be justified for someone to go and talk to her and her family and find out what happened, what made her this way. But not like in a, like, because bad things happen, it's excusable. Because bad things happen to people all the time and they don't murder people. Yeah. So I wouldn't want it to be like that. I would just want it to more just to explain. Because, like, the Menendez brothers are in the news a lot lately because now that we know a little bit more of why they killed their parents, everyone's like, yeah, let them out of there. So I'm not saying I want something like that, but I would like to know more.
Yeah, I mean, I did like that the documentary focused on the victim and her family more. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of documentaries, I think, miss the mark on that. But I do agree. I would have liked to have known more about her, like, childhood. Because if her family is saying, like, oh yeah, she's been like this forever, I'm like, then we need to trace it back way far. She wasn't that old.
Right.
I would
to have that many issues.
Yeah. I would almost like if they had done like a a two-parter, because this one kind of focused on the victim and her family, and then a lot on Wade.
Too much.
Skull, which makes me feel like that's who was behind, the production of this, right? It definitely seemed like it was slanted towards him and his folks.
They tried to make us feel so bad for Wade. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, you bring up a good point. I think it was only about 96 minutes, somewhere in there, this documentary. Definitely could have added another 10, 12, 15 minutes and had it be about her history. Like, I definitely wanted to know, what was she like as a child? Because I turned to you, Jen, when we were watching this at one point, and I said, I think she's a real psychopath, which is quite rare. You don't typically see that. You see sociopaths more often because they're more created, but psychopaths, they're born that way. And I got that feeling from her, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't. Again, it's out of my scope, but I don't even know if that's a term we're using anymore. Like, I think Lisa might be more up to date on this with her backgrounds. Are we even using that term anymore in justice or social work?
Yeah, and the difference between the two escapes me. But I had the same thought. I was like, is she? Because to be this young and be doing this many things and just have a complete disregard for everyone else's well-being, it does not matter. It was really, really disturbing. She did not seem to have any sense of why would I even care? She wasn't capable.
Especially thinking to the doctor who was talking about how she performed the removal and how she did it backwards, upside down or whatever.
Yep.
And it would have been extremely, excruciatingly painful.
That was the part that got to me. That was when I was like, okay, fuck this bitch, and she belongs in death row. I'm not usually a fan of that sort of thing. Whatever about the death penalty. I'm not going to make get on a soapbox or anything. Some people deserve it, some people don't. But very rare when I'm like, yeah, kill that woman. But this woman really might deserve it.
No, see, I totally disagree. I was telling Craig, I don't think that I don't believe in the death penalty, and that's only because I think some people don't deserve the peace of death. I'm like, no, you should suffer a long. I want you to live a long ass time.
You want hell on earth first, and then hell in real hell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like that.
She does not deserve death.
I could get behind that. You've converted me.
Well, especially considering the victim, Reagan, was alive.
Yeah.
While
that was happening. I just can't even wrap my head around. It was we cried so much during that movie. Even though I already knew a lot about the case, I already knew the ending, but still watching the documentary and seeing her photos, hearing from her mom, it really affected us a lot.
Yeah. Imagining you think your friend is coming over to talk to you guys, that's not uncommon.
Because unlike Wade, Reagan knew nothing about any of this. She was totally just thought she was being a good friend to this
photographer,
this girl that needed a friend, needed a listening ear.
Yeah, that she met at her wedding when she hired her to be the photographer, and it was just being a shoulder to cry on, being an ear to, be vented to, and definitely not expecting to get cut open.
No, the stakes that this woman went to get the job and befriend her and let it take months, and figure out, plan not only to distract her husband or boyfriend for hours, but also to, at the same time, get her friend alone. And then, to try and align that with meeting at the hospital. Oh, because I'm magically going into labor. So many layers of deception. And then, with that crime of cutting her friend open, it's just the icing on the cake. This is definitely one of the most horrific documentaries I've ever seen like this. And I've seen so many. Way too many.
Yeah, I totally agree. And along with that, the other really disturbing part is that even though, like you said, there's all these layers of deception, there's all this planning that seems so meticulous, knowing that she was also, like, searching teen pregnancy group, like, support groups, and just whatever pregnant women activities in the area, it could have easily been any other pregnant woman. Like, even though it did seem like she was targeting Reagan,
Right.
knowing that she was doing all these other things, it could have been any random pregnant person.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts on that. One of them is that I feel that Reagan became just an opportunity because she was running out of time. She was at what, 10 months now? She had gone a month over her duty. Like, it was time. She had to do something. And I think that's why Reagan ended up being the one that was chosen. Because I think, yeah, she was just trying to find somebody at first. But that brings me to my second point. And it's what makes me the most irritated at everybody around. She wasn't good at this. Like, yeah, she planned a lot, but at every step of the way, anybody applying any modicum of critical thinking would have been like, wait, what? Her Google searches were just that she bought the fake belly on Amazon. It came in an Amazon box.
And it would have been heavy.
She didn't even wear it all the time.
That's unbelievable.
And she was outside with him not wearing it. He was right there.
She just had a burrito that day and called it good. Called it 8 months.
Part of me says he knew, and again, just didn't care. And I think, like everybody else around him, assumed it was going to be, I lost the baby.
Yeah, she was going to fake a miscarriage because, again, they're thinking of this, like, their limits of how evil a person can be. I was telling Craig, I've been listening to these podcasts, watching these true crime shows. That's my mind goes there first. I'm like, this bitch is gonna kill somebody. Like, no, I would not. Like the friend from before that was pregnant and was like, she's being too weird, and distance herself.
Good point, and I agree. Like that seems like the most plausible way out to me, is that she just would have, another miscarriage, shucks, darn, and then not have to go through the whole process of killing someone, but to have the backups, like you said, with the pregnancy groups and all this other stuff. It just shows like how calculated she is. And that's the part to me that I'm like, okay, she deserves to never have a life again, one way or another. That's for sure. There's no rehabilitation for this woman, in my opinion.
No, definitely not. I really want to hear Jen's thought on this. I was really impressed by the hospital staff and how they caught on right away, like, this bitch is crazy, and they did what they could to keep people safe.
The local hospital, the one that
she had the hysterectomy at originally.
Yeah, no, they really impressed me. They did everything they could have done with like reasonable. Like, that's the tough thing, and I've never thought about this to that depth before. Like, so you hear HIPAA all the time. We're all freaked out of HIPAA because the fines are huge and it's something we deal with every single day. When do we break HIPAA to say, like, just give me the fine? Like, I have lives to save. Like, because they had gotten as close to that as possible. They just didn't think she, again, was capable of that level of evil. And we have to keep in mind, when we see a patient not for their mental health, it's these little blips spread over time. So they might, and they already were like, okay, we're on lockdown, we're ready, this could happen.
Even only knowing the little blip, I was so impressed with the way that they responded to that. Because like you said, they didn't know the extent of everything, but they still took the precautions that I just was not expecting.
I have a question about HIPAA then. Could they have called the other hospitals in the area and said to be on alert for this sort of thing? I mean, it wouldn't have stopped this instance, but if that's what they were worried about, could they have like shared it within the medical community without giving away?
Ooh.
I don't know.
To add on to that real quick,
Yeah.
I remember they called a code pink.
Yeah.
So that was that they already assumed that she was going to steal a baby. So
Exactly.
I would think for a reason like that, you'd have to be able to break HIPAA from profession to profession. But what do you think?
Yeah, so we can break HIPAA if we think somebody is in like imminent danger. Calling other hospitals. I mean, and then like, where do you stop? How many hospitals do you call? Ooh,
Do
like,
you include like other like nurseries and birthing centers that aren't technically, part of the private hospital?
Yeah, then it starts to get, yeah.
yeah.
And then why not just be able to tell the police then?
Yeah, I don't think you call other hospitals, and we already have so many rules. Like, just in like my like awareness of how the world works, seeing how much labor and delivery units have changed their security precautions. They're like, that was the only part of the hospital that in our town we grew up in that had any security. The rest of it, I could run around as a little kid, go wherever I wanted. But until I got to the OB unit, I was like, oh, I can't just walk in here. So I think I don't think they could have called other hospitals. But I'm curious on somebody who's like a medical legal expert if they would disagree.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's our target audience, medical legal expert.
My target audience is anyone who will watch.
I actually could I do know a doctor who he's a doctor and he has his law degree and he also is an engineer.
Oh, wow.
And I could be like, hey.
And he's also MacGyver.
Right? I'm like, how'd you have the time?
Right.
Question one.
Oh,
and
Andrew,
question
watch
two.
out.
He's also Indiana Jones. Well, side note on the pregnancy thing real quick. You mentioned when we were watching it that a woman can fake a baby kick just by flexing her stomach. Would you explain more of that?
And I want to hear this from Lisa
Yeah.
too. So I heard about this documentary from my coworkers, and they were talking about when she faked the baby kicking. And I won't say who it was to air them out, but two of them said, "Oh yeah, we would do that all the time just to get people like finished with filling their bellies." Now keep in mind we're in the South. People just grope pregnant women around here without asking. And they'll just, pretend to kick by, like, flexing their muscles so that they can be like, yeah, you okay? You felt a kick. Get away. Lisa, can you? Have you?
No, I did not know that was possible.
How?
Every now and then, like, you know how you get, like, a twitch in your eye?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get, like, a muscle that twitches down there, and I'm like, oh my god, no!
Not again.
This is impossible, right?
You guys need to get that basketball team going. I'm telling you, you just need 2 more. You get a 5-on-5 tournament.
Wow, no, I didn't know that was possible.
That's what they said. I'm going to have to get, again, in the comments.
Yeah, please.
Please engage.
Pregnant women, please comment in down below.
And don't be watching this.
Yeah, no
don't
kidding.
stress yourself out.
I think pregnant women, should stay away from this. Another quick side note, unless anybody has anything else to say about that, but there was
Craig?
There was a point where I can't remember exactly what she was doing, but she was mimicking some kind of sociopathic behavior in a way that reminded me of Amber Heard. I don't know if you guys got this, but during the Amber Heard trial, it came out that she stole a RAPE story from her assistant and passed it off on her as her own. And I got that feeling from from this girl in this documentary as well. Is that a stretch, or do you guys buy that too?
No, that definitely aligns with what you're saying. I was like how she cannot, it doesn't seem like she has access to normal human emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that she would also, like, mimicking the emotions, she would also try to mimic experiences, stories.
It was weird, though, that she didn't just mimic, she copy and pasted back to the woman who told it to her.
Do you think she forgot
Yes.
that it was her story?
I don't know.
I think she was, like, thought she was relating somehow, or, like, they could have this thing in common, that was next level.
Yeah. And so cruel, like, death of a child is, like, that's one of the top, like, horrible things someone could experience. So she didn't comprehend that as, like, you're just making that pain so much worse for this woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the part I was talking about. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, that was disgusting, and exactly what you just said. Like, to lose the or to not have the tact to understand who you're talking to and what you're talking about. And that actually reminded me also of The Chase with that stupid boom shirt we were talking about that one dad had.
Yeah. Just being so out of touch with reality that you couldn't even fathom that, hey, this might come off badly to this person.
I think it's that they don't care about any reality but their own.
Yeah.
And people are too polite to call people out on their bullshit most of the time. So this woman, even though she probably like had to have known it's really unlikely that she also had this exact same experience as I did. But because she had a good heart, she wasn't going to be like, really? That actually happened to you? Like,
I've actually thought about that a lot, Lisa, how you said people are too polite to really stand up for themselves and protect themselves in those moments when they might be even in danger. I think about the ending of the movie, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And
yes.
he says to him, you were so worried about offending me that here you are, locked in my dungeon getting ready to be murdered. And that's so true. That is human nature. And it's so weird. Like, you would think, oh, who gives a shit if I offend this guy if it saves my life? But it's totally true. And then you can see how far that goes down the rabbit hole with these people who just enable her to do this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I would, not to get too sidetracked here, I'd argue it's less human nature and more social conditioning.
Yeah.
Because that is how the authorities like it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I agree. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We're conditioned to fall in line, sheep-like behavior. Absolutely, and that's where it got these poor people. Really,
it's better to take your lumps than rock the boat.
Yeah.
And along with, it's hard to fathom that somebody is going to go to a level that we ourselves wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So at worst, you're thinking maybe I'll get hurt and then move on from this. And it's never like how bad it actually is when somebody who is evil or, suffering from psychopathy can go.
Or if you're also getting a brand new car.
Or a $4 million ranch in Oklahoma.
Yeah, give me that oil money. I'd do just about anything for oil money.
And that's how it all starts.
Right.
The car for the mom was so sad.
3 weeks. Gone.
See, and
How did she get
we're
it?
talking about how eventually she called the dealership to check on where the car was, because I'm filling in some blanks here, but I'm assuming that the what's-her-face kept telling her, oh, yeah, the dealership has it. They're still working on it because of the recall. Oh, they said they'll get back to me and I'll let you know. And I think the mom finally had enough of that, called the dealership herself, which is kind of a step towards, away from that, I'm not trying, I don't want to offend. And she kind of did, and that's when she got clued in, is she took that step that might be offensive, and then there's the truth.
Because her money was being messed with. Notice how aggressive people can get once their pie gets taken away?
Yes.
See, that's what I'm saying.
But how ridiculous that, because I saw that coming a mile away. I was like, oh, that shit's getting repossessed. Like, there's no way, even before it got, taken back. And the mother, like, of course she had to have thought that probably in the back of her mind, and then that's probably why she called on some level. But to then do nothing, it seemed like she just dropped it. Like, oh, well, my daughter gave me this car that she basically stole and pawned it off on me, and now they took it back. But, oh, well, I'll come over on Sunday for dinner, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What was that?
That was the mother-in-law. Well,
Yeah,
not even mother-in-law.
That was Wade's mom.
Right. But still,
even
like,
crazier.
still had a relationship of some kind, of course, because of Wade, but But
right, but I'm thinking now, putting on my dad hat,
yeah,
and this is happening to one of my kids, and that car gets repossessed, and I'm seeing now, oh, this is who you really are.
mm-hmm.
Why would I continue to be chill?
I'm the type who would probably just go in there and like literally move her out, like grab her shit and literally move her out and change the locks. Because if you're gonna do something like that, like obviously my son's under some kind of spell, and she's some kind of succubus, and she's got to be she needs the holy water.
Incubus.
That's right.
Right? No, succubus. Succubus. My bad. My apologies.
That's all right. Well, it's a medical term, of course.
Yeah, Incubus is a band.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Well, guys, that is all of my notes. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Any other topics that we should talk about with this fucked up documentary?
Gosh, I don't know. I saw this meme that was like, Netflix just keeps like upping the ante with these crazy women.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you said, I've seen a lot of shit, like true crime stuff, and this, I think, took the cake for one of the worst things I've seen.
Yeah.
Or heard about.
I think I would just want to, give a little PSA to always, be cautious with people and engage your critical thinking skills. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about when they pulled her over, it starts with her getting pulled over, right? That's how this movie starts. And she didn't even think, which, as this might be morbid, but if I was her, I probably would have splashed some of the blood all over me to make it look like I just gave birth. Because she got out of that car, she did not, her pants were clean, her shirt was clean. She just pulled over and gave birth on the side of the road, supposedly, and is completely untouched. Her hair wasn't even that messed. Like,
that was crazy.
Like I said, it was wild how poorly she actually lied. Like, everything was constructed. It was so thin that I don't know how people just didn't. And I guess they didn't, because the cops were immediately suspicious. The hospital staff, even at that new hospital, was like, "This is wrong, right?" Yep. Like, you can hear them say that to the law enforcement.
In basketball, when you make a really good move, but you blow the layup, they say $1 million move, 10-cent finish, and that's pretty much her. What you're saying with her, she planned everything out to a T, but the execution was shit.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yes. She didn't even burn the house down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding. It was just a tiny little fire.
And he was just like, "Oh, okay." I put the fire out with the hose.
Oh, I can't with fucking Wade. I fucking hate that guy. Mm-hmm. There's so many angles that you could discuss with this documentary, like the layers. Like, you could talk about the shitty, lazy, complicit men. You could talk about being polite and, like, overlooking things that you know are wrong.
The fear of bureaucracy and fines, at what cost.
Yeah. And then her obvious mental health issues, even though that was weird, too, because they said that they did evaluations on her, and it turned out that there weren't any. They didn't find that she was, like, not in her right mind.
I think the big thing was, like, she knew what she was doing was wrong, because she did all these steps to cover it, and so, like, that's, like, the big, you can't use...
So she couldn't claim, like, I was just insane for a little bit there.
This girl couldn't really claim much of anything. It's almost like she's an alien dropped into East Texas to reign supreme.
And no, I think she is a good photographer. Because, like, the wedding photos were nice, and every selfie, catfish level. She could take a mean selfie.
It feels like that John Travolta video where he's explaining being a director, and he looked at, a picture of a director directing a movie, so he dressed like that, and he just is playing it right. It feels like that's what she did. She went,
Yeah.
I need to be a photographer, and so I'm just going to do what a photographer does, and it like worked for her.
That's the psychopath part that
Yeah.
I keep going back to, because she can't genuinely connect, doesn't genuinely understand how to fit into a type, a group or a type or anything like that, but then sees like the technical aspect of doing good at photography, right? And so that makes a lot of sense to me, that she can plan out to a T all this meticulous, and like you said, writer level like plan scheme, but her execution is just so terrible because she doesn't understand people.
Yeah, because she's not a person.
Yeah. She's an alien.
She's a succubus.
It's actually interesting that you said alien, because I've been thinking about aliens a lot lately with them supposedly trying to use the 23andMe
Oh wow,
DNA test to search for aliens.
sounds like we have our next.
Supposedly that's what the CIA is doing right now.
Sounds like we might have our next episode topic right there.
Aliens, yes. We can talk about fire in the sky.
Yeah. There you go. Well, there's been some
And then
new alien shit going on lately in your neck of the woods, hasn't there?
Over here?
Yeah, I think I heard in the news that something to do with Oregon specifically is going on, but maybe
it's a psyop.
Okay.
I don't know.
Everything about aliens right now is a psyop.
That's true.
It's
That's
all
true.
quarter and half truths at the
Okay.
moment.
Well, you'll have to tune in next time on La Murga podcast to get all the alien news. But
You're going to have a conspiracy spin-off show.
there you go. Anything else, Jen? Anything else you want to say, or are we missing anything, guys?
Nah, I think we got it.
Well, we made jokes and we were having a good time, but I did want to say it was very, very sad. I felt very bad for, obviously, the victim, Reagan.
And her family.
For sure.
Her other daughter that was there when it happened.
Yeah, I blocked that out because that's too much. Like, that shouldn't be entertainment.
Like, her dad, he had to send in the neighbor because he couldn't go in there.
Yeah, it was just...
Because he knew he'd have to step over his daughter's, like, mutilated body to go get his granddaughter.
Well, you bring up a good point. Like, the line between, educational documentary and Netflix entertainment can sometimes be very blurred and thin. And I do think that this documentary maybe clears that up a little bit, because we've all kind of decided, it sounds like, that this is maybe one of the hardest documentaries we've ever watched like this, if not the hardest. And it didn't really feel like entertainment. It felt like something that we needed to know, but maybe didn't really want to experience knowing it.
Well, I thought, they did a good job not giving like any unnecessary over details.
Yeah.
Even when they did share some of the more gruesome facts, it was always in the context of like, so we would understand just how awful it was, and not like for the shock factor of it, but for the like, feel inside yourself, your humanity as you think about this.
Yeah. Yep. That's well put.
The other takeaway, don't be nice. No, if you see this weird bitch that's copying your shit, she's too nice, too friendly, she doesn't have friends, she needs a friend. It ain't gonna be me.
That's for sure.
Don't do it.
We can always count on you to tell people what you really think.
Tell people to fuck off.
Jen, is there anyone you want to tell to fuck off?
Oh, so many. But I do it in the moment.
Good. Well, all right. I feel like that's a really good episode of group therapy, and today it was pretty much all just kumbaya and trying to get through this terrible episode. Terrible, not a podcast episode. Terrible Netflix episode, I should say.
We'll find out in the comments below.
Yeah, we'll find out. It's a pretty terrible podcast episode too, but it'll get better. No, you guys, thank you very much for joining us today. It's great to see you as always, and hopefully you guys will be on again sometime soon, and maybe then we'll actually talk about something pleasant.
Yeah, let's do something fun next time.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, well, thank you very much for joining us today on La Murga the podcast. And next time, hopefully, we will have something a little bit more upbeat for you. But if you haven't seen this documentary and you're thinking about watching it, maybe think twice. But if you have seen it, let us know down in the comments below what you guys thought of it. There's a lot to talk about. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
You heard it here first. Be fucking not cheating per Andrew.
It's the lowest form of cheating.
Yuck. Almost just barfed in my mouth.
This bitch be crazy. That's the moral of the story here. Don't trust him.